Hey everyone. So this is week 4, so May 11th through May 17th. However, this week what we have going on is we normally when we're in the classroom, we do, meaning we, Miss Smothers and I, we do a project based around our tobacco, alcohol, and drug unit. And that takes a little bit of time, even in the classroom. And so normally it's like a 2 week ordeal. And so I've kind of modified it a little bit, but again, it's still going to take us about 2 weeks if you choose this option. So for this particular week, we are going, even though it says the 17th, I'm trying to look on my calendar to see what date it actually goes to really quick. Technically, for both assignments, or both options, you have the opportunity to turn this in by the 24th. So you have 2 weeks to do this. I wouldn't procrastinate on it. I would start working on it because it is a lot of work for for both options. Um, and that's why we're spreading it out over a course of 2 weeks of getting this in. All right, so first and foremost, please do me a favor. When you guys are on Google Classroom and it says late or I haven't turned it in, understand I don't go by Google Classroom. What you should really be looking at is PowerSchool. PowerSchool is where I upload everything. I put all the assignments that you've done in Google Classroom and I put them into PowerSchool. So PowerSchool is where to look. Forget what it says in Google Classroom. As long as you've turned everything in and what I've asked, then you should be good to go for PowerSchool. Now, if there's an issue with PowerSchool and it doesn't look right, like I'm saying that you've missed something, make sure you email me so I can double check that and make sure that we have the right grade in there for you. Okay, so don't forget our Google Hangouts are on Thursdays from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. I'm glad that some of you are making that attempt to be there. I hope the rest of you still come to those. It's important, just so that I can see your face, you can see mine, and you can ask me any questions if you're having anything down the road. Okay, so what you're going to be doing for this week now, when you're viewing this stuff won't be grayed out. Right now it's grayed out because I have it scheduled to go out tomorrow, which would be Monday at 8 o'clock. Um, all right, so the first thing is I want you to go through these options and try to figure out which one you want to do. Now, if you notice here, you have for option 1, there are 3 parts to it. And for option 2, it's the big project and it's just one option, okay? So try to figure out which one you want to do. This is just a quick, easy answer. It's a, am I doing option 1 or am I doing option 2? Okay, so just tell me. I would like that you to let me know, so just I have a heads up of what you're planning on doing, okay? So try to get that into me just by clicking which option. It's literally you're clicking on a button that says option 1 or option 2. Please do that by Wednesday, May 13th of this week, so I have an idea before our Google Hangout. All right. So let's talk about option 1. Again, there's 3 parts to it. It's broken down. Understand that I'm just putting this in here that you're gonna do parts 1, 2, and 3. All parts, or parts 1 and 3 are going to be uploaded into Google Classroom, and the other part 2 is based on a Flipgrid that we'll talk about. This right here is just, it's a worksheet. You're going to kind of do something very similar from the previous week if you did that option with going to the drugfreeworld.org website. You're going to do the same thing going there, but you're going to go to the alcohol packet and going through and answering these questions. So that's that assignment, and then you'll upload it right here, okay? Option, or part 2 of option 1 is you're gonna go to do a Flipgrid. When you go to Flipgrid, there's gonna be a public service announcement it's all based on binge drinking, and that's what you're making as a public service announcement using Flipgrid, and you're gonna be making your own video of yourself doing this, but there's requirements of that. So you'll go into Flipgrid, you have to use your school email for that, school email, to access that and to figure out what you need to do. There's a rubric in there for you, so meaning the directions of what you need to put into this video, okay? So take a look at that. And then part 3 of option 1 is you are going to be making an anti-vaping advertisement. There's some there's some parts in here, which I think I forgot to upload a thing for you, but it has the requirements of what you need to have in it. You can be very creative on how you want to present this. Lots of different options here for you on getting your anti-advertisement for vaping out there. Okay, so those, if you're gonna do option one, you have to do all three. Okay, you cannot just do one of these and say, okay, I got one in and that's it. I'm looking for all three of these to be met if you're going to do option one. All right, option two is the project that we would have done in class. There's a lot of requirements to it, but again, this is kind of like satisfying three different those other options. This project particularly is, and I want you to, in the end, bring your research to life. You're not going to just, you can use this as like a document to put all of your information on, but in the end, I want you personally to, whether you're putting it into Google Slides, all the information on there, that's what most of my students, when we're in the classroom, that's what most of them like to do, is use the Google Slides. But you are more than welcome to use any other things on here or anything else, but as long as you are meeting all the criteria for this project. So these are the requirements that you need to put in. Some of this information, you might already have it if you did the Drug-Free World worksheet from previous. You might already have a lot of this information right here, okay? So maybe you're thinking, well, I think I would rather just do this one because I already have some of this information already down. And that's fine with me. So you're going to pick 3 different drugs, any drugs that you want, at least 2 street names. If you want, you can include more. I know that some of you, I asked for 5 in that last document. So if you want to do that, you can. What it looks like, I give you some examples here, how it's used. You need 5 short and 5 long-term effects. I explain the meaning of what short and long-term means. You need a picture of all these drugs, so there should be 3 pictures of each one of those, and then a statistic fact based on that drug, okay, of using it. You also need to provide, you'll have to do some research here, but I want you to provide a facility in the area, okay? So like if I was to get into the car and drive 60 minutes in any direction, I would be able to arrive at this particular facility that you have found. So your requirements for this is the name of the facility, the address, the telephone number, the website. Hotlines are okay, but in this, I mean, if somebody was addicted to drugs, it's fine. But in this particular case, I don't want you to use any hotlines. I want you to find a facility that a person can literally go to this place, check themselves in if they were addicted to drugs. And so it's like a place that you probably would stay. All right. And I want you to tell me, in that facility, you have to tell me like what the facility is going to help a person with. Okay, so you probably have to go to their About Me page to figure that out. You might not be able to find that or just know that right from the front website. You have to actually go into their website and actually find what you're looking for that tells you how they're going to treat you. All right, alcohol. And by the way, I'm giving you I'm just putting some helpful resources in here to help you find it. Not to say that you'll be able to find the information you're looking for in here, but you might be. So I'm giving you some helpful resources, websites to look at. All right, for alcohol, I want you to research these 3, beer, wine, and liquor. Explain it, what it is, what does it look like, a picture of each one of these, okay? And in general, I want you to tell me 5 short and long-term effects of using alcohol and 3 statistic facts from using alcohol. I also want you to go to this website right here, this link, and I want you to look up some of this information below on drunk driving in the state of Michigan. So what is the percentage, okay, where a person would be intoxicated or drunk if they were behind a wheel in the state of Michigan. What's that percentage? What are some of the consequences of drunk driving? Meaning, like, if this was your first time ever getting pulled over, what would be your first offense? And what would be your BAC level? This would be a percentage. It would be over a 0.17. Okay, so there on that website, all of this information is on there. You just have to look for it and put that in there for me. Another thing I want you to do is I want you to look up Alcohol Anonymous. So you might have heard of it as AAA. That's for abbreviation. I want you to explain, like, if you go to a AA facility, okay, or Alcohol Anonymous, like, how do they help you at that facility? What is so different about that facility versus maybe like a general counselor? So to kind of explain that treatment. What type of people attend AA? So, like, why would they be going there in the first place? Okay, so there's multiple different reasons as to why they would go there. It doesn't necessarily mean that they wanted to go there. Okay, so that's just a kind of a helpful hint. When you hear somebody earning a chip, okay, I want you to figure out what that means. Okay, so what does a chip represent? And there's multiple different chips. If you look this up, there's multiple different chips, but what does a chip mean? It's not your typical chip that I'm going to eat. It's something different. So I want you to look up what that means. And I also want you to find a facility, again, somewhere in this general area of St. Joe, that you could go. Okay, so try to find a facility, and you're gonna, again, very similar to above, with drugs. I want you to find a facility for alcohol, an AA facility, that's gonna, address, telephone, and the website. Okay, so somewhere 60 minutes from St. Joe. All right, last section for tobacco. So what is tobacco? What does it look like? Where does it come from in general? Okay, not necessarily the tobacco that it's already in forms. Okay, so down here, forms like different products that you can use of tobacco. Like, these things all have tobacco in it. But what is tobacco? What does it look like? Explain it. There's a drug that's found inside of tobacco. Okay, so explain what that drug is. So figure out what that drug is. And I also want you to find a picture of tobacco, meaning before the companies turn it into a tobacco product like these ones down here in bold. What does it actually look like? All right, once the tobacco companies actually take I don't want to say anymore, that tobacco, and they start turning it into different products, these products are the ones I want you to research. So for each one, explain what it is, how is each one of these used, what do they each look like, and you can, whether it's describing it or putting a picture in there, I'm fine with either one. And then in general, I want you to tell me overall, what are 5 short and long-term effects of using tobacco? What are 3 statistic facts from using tobacco as well? So, and then with that said, I want you, and this should probably be over a little bit, but I want you to research hairy tongue, okay? Hairy tongue is a disease that you can get from one of these. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I want you to research what hairy tongue is, explain it, explain what type of tobacco product it come from, and then give me a picture, okay? Enjoy those pictures. They're quite nasty, to tell you the truth, but explain what hairy tongue is. The next thing I want you to do is I want you then to research what an e-cigarette is, or a vape, in other words. Tell me why, even though they're kind of, vapes and e-cigarettes are kind of classified as a tobacco product, they're really not, and there's a reason for it. I want you to figure out why. Maybe you've noticed that because the general law for tobacco is that you cannot smoke inside public places. Here you can. So I want you to figure that out. All right. How it's used. Just go through very similar. You have two other options here. Just read it. I'm running out of time. Okay,